Hey, it's Rosemary here. How you doing? Now, there are five rule kind of areas that I think you really need to break if you are actually determined to live a life that is free, that is rich, that is loved, because there's so many rules that we can get caught up in following, and it becomes almost autopilot after a bit, where you're just doing things because you've always done them. So I wanna shake you up a little bit here. I want you to start thinking, is this stuff actually helping me any longer, or is it time for me to drop it and find something that suits me better? Because actually there are no rules that can apply to every single person on the planet, okay? That's more control, don't you think? Okay, let's have a look at religion rules. It wasn't until I found the courage to step away from all the organized stuff and just get on my own spiritual path that I found true intimacy, true freedom in my spiritual relationship with higher power or source or whatever you want to call it. Okay, I call him Papa. Now, I had always known that, Papa was love. But what I saw in organized religion, it didn't always match up to it at all. It tried, so I'm not going to dismiss everything, because there's really good stuff in there. I'm not saying everything is horrible. And it did give me a bit of a foundation that I wouldn't otherwise have had, and some powerfully deep friendships that shaped my life. So for sure, it wasn't all bad. But then I had to break free of the building and the rules that come with that in order to discover the freedom and the unconditional love that was preached about, but it didn't really demonstrate. Okay? So if you want freedom, you may need to find the courage to question what you've been taught. And I would suggest that you stop worrying so much about going to hell and find a path that actually feels real to you. To me, spirituality is absolutely critical. Okay, it's not optional. If I'm going to build a rich, amazing, happy life, my spiritual connection is key, and I believe that for you as well, okay? And so this is the thing, whilst I was stuck thinking that the way I was taught was the only way to, connect, then I wasn't able to commit fully to living my life on purpose, to fully going after my vision, because I wasn't sure that this God actually wanted me to. And it was more important to me to have a relationship, a spiritual connection, than it was for me to have all the trappings of the earth, see? So I would always be in conflict thinking that this God was against the vision, okay? And I would rather go after the God than the vision. And that might be where you're at, where you're kind of in this conflict thinking that you're waiting for a word from the Lord to tell you that you need to go. But honey, you know what? Your vision is your permission. So again, I call you to question some of the stuff that is holding you back, that may be to do with your religion, that maybe it's time to actually be free. Number 2, sexuality rules, okay? Unfortunately for me, I was exposed to sex and pornography in not the greatest of ways when I was about 6, 7, something like that, and so that meant that I was exposed to stuff, adult themes, when I had a child mind and I didn't know who to talk to. And in fact, the only thing I was getting was, it's bad, it's wrong, it's horrible, usually something to do with religion or family, truth be told. And the things that I saw was people, it was just abused in a lot of ways. And so I felt as if that part of my life was shameful, was something to feel guilty about, and I couldn't quite understand why I even had it. Why was I a sexual being at all? And it wasn't until, even when I became an adult and grew up, I was in my teens, asking people and telling people, okay, I'm struggling with pornography, I'm struggling with sex and this and that and the other. What do I do? And then, my awesome friends, the best they knew to do was to cast out demons and to pray about it, instead of to actually give me a foundation of, there's nothing wrong with this area of your life. They tried, but I couldn't even hear it, I must admit. So I had to take because I was stifling this area of my life. And the thing to know here is that your creativity is very dependent on your sexuality. It births life. It births actual physical life, but it births that spiritual life as well. Your sexuality is really key to you being the powerful leader that you're born to be, okay? And for me, I'd stifled it. I felt guilty and ashamed of it. So I was less than who I was. And so it wasn't until I took it straight to source and asked the question, what does all this stuff mean? What is it? And the answers that came back to me were incredibly surprising, okay? And I would exhort you to ask the questions. If you have any guilt or shame, not everybody has any issues around this, because different people were brought up differently. But if you have issues around this, if you are stifled in this area, if you feel frigid in this area, if you feel over sexualized and you're doing things in the dark that make you feel guilty and ashamed, Honey, take it straight to source. Don't just listen to what people are telling you to think and feel, because sometimes people are feeling guilty only because of the rules that others have placed on them, not because it's actually wrong. Check for yourself, okay? It's time for freedom. Number 3, your past story. Sometimes you think that because you were brought up in a certain environment, and I used to think this too, you know, I was brought up to be a pharmacist, I was brought up to be a professional. My parents had dug themselves out of being traders and all of that stuff as villagers. I don't know, because anyway. And they'd become professionals, so they wanted us all to be professionals. So I'd been brought up into this whole idea that that's what's going to be my life forever. I was also exposed to a heck of a lot of lack, and so it was a bit of a struggle to move into abundance, because you start to think that the story that you were brought up into is the story you have to stay with forever. You see people going through cycles from one generation to the next because they feel that they're stuck. You're not stuck. Your past doesn't determine your future. Your past doesn't even have to determine you right now. Okay, your thoughts to date have determined you right now. Your mindset has got you here. So you want to elevate, you want to level up. You don't have to stay stuck doing anything just because you've always done it. It might even be a good thing. But if you want awesome, honey, you may need to drop the good in order to go to awesome. So question anything that keeps you stuck. It doesn't matter what color of your skin. It doesn't matter what country you're in. It doesn't matter whether you have money or don't have money. It doesn't matter whether you know how exactly to bring your vision to life or not. Actually, you don't need to know all the hows in order to start. It doesn't matter. What else doesn't it matter about? It doesn't matter any of this stuff. What matters is what you're going to do next. That's the only thing that matters. Are you going to put that vision in front of your eyes and actually start taking action towards it? Or are you going to keep obeying the rules that, well, this is your class, and so you need to stay in this class? No, you don't. Break free. Okay? Number 4, family rules. Okay? I come from a family that comes with a heck of a lot of traditions and cultures and cows that need to be bought and sold, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, but there was a heck of a lot of this is the way we do things and which is all well and good because there's something great about culture. Yeah, absolutely. However, what if it's stifling you and you're too scared to question? You're worried about being alone. You're worried you're going to lose your family, blah, 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 blah. In fact, even doing things like marrying my husband, I had people saying, you're going to lose your family for a man? And it's like, yeah, but sometimes the family is trying to keep you away from what is good for you. They mean well. But you got to decide for yourself, what is good for you? What is good for you? This is a deliberate life that we're building here. You decide what is good for you. For me, I rebelled a lot, but I felt guilty all the time because I still felt that I had to do this stuff. It wasn't until I finally made the decision inside of me that, you know what? I don't actually have to do this stuff. So I don't need to rebel because I don't need to do it. I just need to say no and be free and clear. Because all my energy was going to feeling guilty or shameful or being manipulated to do things that I kind of felt that I really should do. I got done with that and started saying no or yes from a place of freedom. You get that choice as well. You don't have to go along with anything for false loyalty, whether friends, families, whatever. You get to choose how you play your life out. Are you ready to make those choices? Number 5, work rules. There's this underlying rule ultimately that it's impossible to create a life doing only what you love. There's this feeling that you're supposed to settle in different areas of your life, particularly with work, that you just have to do whatever you need to do to put money on the table or put food on the table and blah, 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 and pay your bills. If you accept that, then that becomes your reality. Okay? You can transition into a life where you're doing work that makes you come alive. That makes you feel as though you're on track and on purpose, and you can make an income from it. I have no doubt in my mind that whatever it is that you choose, that you really are interested in, there is a way to monetize it. There is a way to monetize it. But if you think that the way you've been brought up to believe that you have to do certain things and only do the fun stuff in your spare time, maybe, basically, if you believe that and you decide that you're going to create a life around that, then that's what you get. The truth of the matter is it takes the same amount of energy to build a life you don't like as it does to build a life you do like, okay? If you invested that same amount of energy, you would build a life that you actually adore. You're going to spend the energy anyway. Why not spend the energy on doing something you absolutely adore? Why not? Yes, the emotional tension of breaking away from the crowd can be very intense because the actual building of the life that you do in only what you love, it's not actually any different from building a life you don't like. It's the emotional tension because you're breaking away. You're breaking away It's not been done before. You start to think, ooh, am I crazy? No, you're not. You can build a life. And in fact, I think it's your heritage to build a purpose-driven, fulfilled existence. Why would you want to settle for anything less, honey? Come on. Success is inevitable. You are a success creating machine. The question is, where is your focus at? Because you are successfully creating whatever you're focusing on. Okay? So if you change your focus and start deliberately designing a life of abundance, fulfillment, and freedom, honey, you will be on the deliberate life path, and you will find that actually you can build a life doing only what you love. So this is the thing, honey. If you are ready to get on this deliberate life path, if you're ready to actually determine that you are going for prosperity in all areas, you're not going to settle any longer, then honey, first and foremost, go get the book. Pray, Affirm, Receive. How to get clear, stay clear, and take action to get what you want out of life. It's at rosemarynonnynight.com/book gift. I'm giving it away for free. You can listen to it or you can read it, because there's both an audio copy and a written copy there for you. Go get it. It's rosemarynonnynight.com/book gift. It is time. It is time, don't you think? Much amazing love. Till the next time. Bye.